Being part of the day where we had a resource fair, my experience with it is that this is something, one, that I've been looking forward to because I think that we have a structure already here in place that we can utilize and maybe do a little bit more often. And with the experience, it was great. We had a lot of families come out and support it. The feedback that we got back from the families was good. I think we learned a lot. It gave me personally, I know, a chance, and a lot of others, to actually walk the streets and go to the homes, speak to people that live in that neighborhood, invite them out to the community, face to face. Within the planning committee, I think was very solid. It was very thoughtful. We sort of took a look at it from every angle and determined the best way to execute the event. Even with it being in November and cold, we had a really good turnout. We reached out to many organizations, invited as many organizations as we could that we thought would be appropriate for the event. We had, I think, 25 organizations show up and were there. And the organizations within themselves was able to network and hear from each other and get a sense of what else was going on in the neighborhood. I know for us at Grow a Future and over at the Hunt Randolph Community Center, we built a partnership from that event. So, walked over to University of Lynchburg table and saw Dr. Caldwell and Dr. Jones. What do y'all got going on? Oh, Lynchburg tomorrow. Sounds a little bit like Grow a Future, so there was some synergy there. So we're looking to help develop some leaders and see what we can do to support the community moving forward. But there's so much potential here and so many people here that can get a lot of the stuff done, but we have to be intentional and figure out the ways to do it. And Strong Neighborhood Alliance provided that opportunity, for us all to come together and really hear about it. One of the, I think, issues that we have in Lynchburg is a sharing issue, right? We struggle with sharing information. I've run into people all the time and I'm telling about what I'm doing. They're like, we've never heard of what you're doing or who you are. And I say, I'm not surprised, because and I think I'm doing a good job of getting it out there, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't happen as well. And so, having more events where we're getting people together to collaborate and we're able to, share information, it's going to lead to a lot of positive impacts in the community. And starting with, strong neighborhoods, I think is the most appropriate way to go. The alliance is when we bring, the community and the neighborhoods together with the city and other organizations. We're building a team. A team. I've played in sports a lot, and I've been part of many teams, and it's part of why I love being in coaching, things of that nature, because a team just isn't just the players. You look on the higher levels, you have the players, you have the coaches, you have the owners, you have the management team behind the scenes. You have, it's so many pieces that come together to make this team happen. And within an alliance, I see it very similarly. You need, departments from each part of the city. You need city council's guidance and wisdom. You need community leaders to come together. You need organizations. And most importantly, you need feedback and input from the citizens themselves that live in that neighborhood. And so when we develop an alliance, within our city, I think that we're growing the city well into the future. I think that from our perspective over at the Hunting, I think it was big for us because considering, it's generations coming up that haven't really experienced the Hunting much, because of the doors being closed. And so you have kids at Dunbar Middle School, for example, that have no idea what that place is across the street. And so having people come back to that particular place and get a sense for what it is, because sometimes, you walk past, you drive past, and you may not even notice it. And then you're there and you're like, oh, this is, a lot can get done within this place. And so I think the impact that it had is it's something to look forward to at a time where we really need some hope. I think Lynchburg has a pretty decent structure to handle some of the things that we're trying to accomplish, particularly the rec centers. We have some really good managers over at the rec centers. I've worked extensively with Tate Jefferson over at the Jefferson Park Rec Center, and I think we lean on those spots a little bit more and continue to build momentum. Then we can. I think that's what it looks like in the future. Really lean on those spots, because when I was growing up as a kid, that's kind of how it was done. I grew up at Daniels Hill Rec Center, and I can tell you right now, if it wasn't for the legendary Mary Brown that worked at the Daniels Hill Rec Center and the programs that they provided and the intention that was put on utilizing the rec centers, if it wasn't for all of that, I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you talking to you doing this interview. I can almost guarantee you that. Getting feedback and listening, I think, is one of the building blocks of developing trust, which is something I always speak to when I'm thinking about urban areas and inner city communities and neighborhoods. The trust factor is so critical. Working for Bank of the James and just knowing the gaps that exist in the financial institutions, being around people that are in health institutions, there's a big gap. And to me, what I see in that gap is trust. For whatever reason, and over the course of a certain amount of time, there's just been a declining trust factor. And so the building block to that is coming together, talking, listening, get a sense of why people are having a hard time, and allowing them to sort of steer, where we're headed and how we can help.